Howdy. Another early morning at the Riverwalk. Got out here today at about 6:30 and just going to talk to myself a little bit as usual. And something I've noticed for quite some time, and this has to do with words, the use of words, but words are an extreme form of control and manipulation, as you may know. One thing about, I think, why people love their pets so much, and I think you hear more about pets, more bumper stickers about loving your dog and stuff now than ever before. And I think that's basically in direct opposition to all the verbal arguing that people are doing all the time. So, in politics and news and religion, things like that. So anyway, the reason I think why people are so tied to their animals is because the animals can't talk. But then again, I mentioned this to someone the other day and they said, "Oh, I wish my dog did talk." It's like, well, all it would do would be, on the level of a 2-year-old, begging you for stuff all the time, complaining, arguing with other dogs and things like that. So anyway, that may never happen, but some years ago, on another side note, I came up with an idea for a storyline, which I called Rhesus Prime. Rhesus is the monkey breed, not breed, but species. And basically, there was in the story, there was a sort of a animal reserve, and this guy performed operations on a chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan, and some other kind of smaller monkey. And what he did was he altered the larynx in the voice box, the position. So the reason we can speak and these animals can't is because of the position of the larynx. And anyway, by surgically moving that, he created the ability for these animals to speak. And people immediately go, "Oh, Planet of the Apes," but that's not what the story was about. Anyway, I didn't have time to pursue that and fully realize it, but anyway, the idea is there. Anyway, when it comes to speech and words in our society, there's a trend I've noticed lately. It's getting worse all the time, or worse for us, better for them, where commercial messages no longer suggest that you do something or provide an option for something. They literally command you. They're giving orders. So, you'll get some email or see some link or something, and it used to say, click here to discover more or something like that. And that's kind of an option, to do this or to not do it. But now the language is basically commanding. So it's now shop now, exclamation point. Not asking you, telling you, and it's spread out a good bit, even in conversation. When I meet people out here, pass by each other, it's odd because I guess it's the South maybe, but everyone says good morning. Even if it's 12:15, they say good morning. And for some reason I don't. I just say hi or hello. But a lot of people will say, for example, have a good day. And you can say that one of two ways. You can say have a good day, and that's kind of insulting or obnoxious or abrasive, or you can say it the other way where perhaps you mean it. But in any case, either way, it's an order. A while ago, I was in the post office, and there was someone working in there that wasn't, I think they were a manager, and they weren't a regular, but dropped off some packages, and she said, "I hope you have a nice day." And I just lit up. I said, "Thank you so much for making that, not making it an order, basically." And she knew what I meant, exactly what I meant, and that's why she was saying that. I hope you have a nice day rather than have a nice day, God damn it. So anyway, speaking of God damn it and everything, moving into part 2, and that is about, research I've been doing on cults. And boy, is it interesting, and it's very tragic, very painful. And it could be, the Moonies or Charles Manson, or even L. Ron Hubbard, or preachers, who's the guy in Texas, the real millionaire guy. But anyway, to me, what's interesting about cults is that they function using language. Language is the critical control mechanism of all cults. And so you might think that your church down the street isn't a cult, the Baptist or Episcopalian or whatever. But the thing about cults is, like, they can be small, the family, Charles Manson, or they can be larger. They can have 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000, millions. But that doesn't mean just because they have more members that they're not a cult. So the way that words are used, religion has gotten very, very good at this. And so you got certain power words that get used. Number one, God. God said this. God told you to do that. If you question it, the Bible, the Bible, ultimate authority, and all that stuff. And if you begin examining that a little more closely, it's like, well, where does the Bible come from? Where did all the parts come from? What was left out? What was changed? Things like that. Then you see pretty quickly that the whole thing begins to fall apart. Anyway, those are the terms that get used to maintain control, because how are you going to argue with God? And then you're going to have preachers saying, I'm speaking for God. This is the word of God coming out of my mouth. And if you can get people to go along with that, they are hooked, perhaps permanently. But one thing about the cults is that a lot of people can get deprogrammed. So the way a cult operates is they will, say they want to get some guy in the cult. Well, one of the women in the cult will basically act romantic toward him, and just to get him in. And he might hang around with her, but he doesn't want to make it permanent. But if he goes out to the retreat, where it's nothing but cult members, all alone in isolation, away from anyone that he knew or his family or anything like that, then over time it creates new connections, and then they basically can have you hooked. Well, anyway, people can get deprogrammed because if, for example, their family finds out about it, because of course you're in a cult, you're not allowed to speak to your family or anyone else you have to stay only with this circle of people. Then sometimes the police can come in, take them away, and then they sit down and they talk to them. Can take some time to deprogram, but basically explaining stuff about how they've been manipulated, how the languages have been used, the things that they've said. And a lot of people kind of like the light bulb goes off and they go, oh, I get it, yeah. And then they are deprogrammed and they can come out and speak out against all that. So anyway, as I pointed out earlier, the thing about cults is, like, the actual membership roster, it can be tiny or it can be gigantic, but it is still a cult because of the ties to language, the dependence on language for manipulation and control. People can get in trouble in their own minds big time because of words. So take politics, for example. The political parties, they use certain words. They have certain ideologies. They also implicitly believe themselves to be superior to the other groups, the other parties, and so on. That's no different from cults, because the cult will believe that they have the sole avenue to truth and no one else does, and there is no other choice. So when it comes to this cult-like behavior and thought processes or pattern, well, they're not really processes in a way. Like I said, it's manipulation and control. When you really recognize it for what it is, you can understand how rampant it is. Not only in, the wacko fringe cults, but also in politics and religion. So, with religion, a lot of young people are kind of seeing through this BS, and so they're not signing up for it, and their churches are in trouble and things like that. So, anyway, is that about it? Well, I could end by saying this, that you can belong to a cult and you don't recognize it as such because you haven't been deprogrammed. That is, you can belong to a political party, you can belong to a religion, and so on. But is it possible to be a cult of one? Your own mind, with your own, what are you doing, manipulating yourself? Well, I don't know if you can really manipulate yourself, but you certainly can increase your understanding and knowledge by learning. So in a sense, I guess you could say we're deprogramming ourselves all the time, or programming. Well, in our case with our society, it's probably deprogramming, because what people don't realize very much is that people are basically traumatized to one degree or another in the Western world, and it's because of the way that we treat children. We judge them from the beginning, and creates a lot of pain, and that's why people turn to things that aren't healthy, because basically they don't feel good inside. They don't know what it's like to feel normal. They only know what it's like to feel judged and under the microscope all the time. So anyway, I hope this is all something useful to contemplate, and you're welcome to leave your comments below. Talk to you later. Bye.